I'm Leanne Harris, and on today's episode of Getting to Know Your Realtor, we have Amy Bloomer. Hi, Amy. How are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. So Amy is the CEO for Place Portland, and now is it Place Georgia, Place Savannah? Like, do we have a name for them?
It's Place Georgia. It's
Okay,
Place Georgia. We had to go with the whole state this time.
Okay, I have not interviewed somebody that's done expansion yet, so we might get into that a little bit during our conversations. But what I love about you is that you really do have the tale of a person coming up in real estate. So you had this team, you were at a boutique brokerage that really didn't have any fundamental models and systems. You were working out of one location. The owner of your company, which is Chad Draper, was out working out of another location. I think maybe you even had another buyer's agent that was working possibly in another location. I was like, wow, you guys aren't even in the same office.
Yeah.
It was like you guys were in a pandemic back then and you didn't even know it.
Just preparing us,
That's right. So you were actually the admin for the team, and you went on to sell 47 homes this year. Really in Portland, right?
Yeah.
That is freaking awesome. So tell me a little bit about that. Tell us what happened there.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I kind of love my story. If everybody could do it the way I do it, or the way I grew up in it, I would recommend it. I mean, I have the fortunate story of my parents have been in real estate for 40 years too. And so I've known all about the industry my whole life. I heard them meeting with clients late at night. So I kind of knew the shtick. So, but yeah, I started as an admin. Chad and I love to joke that I'm just a Craigslist crazy. I don't know how we got connected. I mean, it was just like the stars aligned or something. I don't know. Yeah. But so we found each other on Craigslist. And then we were at a small boutique brokerage, and he was prospecting out of another location. I would just show up there every day and just kind of be like, okay, I'm, transacting things. And it was just this kind of rough learning experience. And then 3 months into it, we came here to Keller Williams and took a one thing class, and it didn't even take the full class. It took until our 2-hour intermission, and just said, okay guys, I think we need to come to KW. I mean,
I remember you standing outside the door after I invited you to that. And I remember you guys standing out there and you were whispering. I was like, oh my gosh, are they mad? Are they okay? Do they like the class? What's happening? And I was so excited that you guys came after that class. It is a really good class.
It is a really great class, and it just changed our world. And so, we came straight over to Keller Williams, and then I was another 3 months, and then we grew to a point where we needed another admin already. And so then I was able to hire somebody and train them, and then just kind of grew from there. So for 3 years, I was director of operations. And it's fun. I mean, it's fun being on the agent side of things now because I just know the ins and outs of everything. I know how to talk to lenders and title companies and stagers and all of it because I did it, and I know what the contracts say, and I know the potential pitfalls and just the kind of gross admin-y side that most agents don't even get to know, or definitely don't enjoy. So now I've been doing the agent thing for 3 years or 2.5 years, and I'm going to sell 47 homes this year. It's pretty exciting.
I love it. Well, I know that you're a study and a student of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and that you really did start building things out that way. And so when you said that you were the operations and going into the sales side of stuff, I think what's really critical for the listeners to hear on that side of it is that what you did is you stuck it out. Most people go into a small admin role and then they say, oh, I'm done with the admin role. Now, I think that there's a lot of credit goes to Chad Draper on this piece too, because Chad said, hey, you're talent and I'm going to promote you. And you both worked through that. And I think that even when you were ready to grow, maybe he wasn't sure how to get you to the next location or the next level. I remember those conversations even during that time. But what you two did is you really pushed in on each other and then you pushed up. And I love the really just that you stuck it out with each other and pushed through that part of it.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. It is a testament to Chad. I mean, He is just an incredible human. And I think from day one, his mentality has always been, okay, how can we be in this for the long run? And how can I challenge you? And how can we grow consistently? I have been to so many Keller Williams classes. I can't even tell you. I've taken things like career visioning 10 times or something crazy. So he's just been a believer in that from day one. And so when you surround yourself with learning and teachers and traveling and conferences and stuff, your world begins to grow. And so that's truly what happened with Chad and I, and how we've been able to get to this place that we are, And so I think my biggest excitement isn't just that I've sold 47 houses this year or whatever. It's the fact that Chad can be across the country pioneering Place, Georgia, and not worry about his business in Portland. He just consistently says that he's just like, it's incredible. You're there and you're operating and you're profitable. And, it's just, that is the biggest compliment to me. So
it's a massive testament to you though. You're just brilliant. And I've seen your leadership really grow this year. And I could really honestly sit on this podcast and just love on you for hours, because this year has been so awesome to watch you. But let's get to the next question, which is, what are the highs and lows in real estate, and what do your clients need to hear? This is getting to know your realtor, Amy Bloomer, right? And so what do we know about your clients?
Yeah. Well, I think my business changed when I stopped trying to sell people and started trying to help people. And I think that's the thing, right? Like, if you're actually listening to people, if you're actually following up when they become a lead, and you initially just ask them, okay, when do you want to sell? Okay, you're a year out, I'll talk to you in 9 months. No, okay, are you actually listening to them? Are you trying to get to know their financial situation? Maybe buying now actually is the decision. They just thought they needed 20% down and needed to save more or something, And so I think just asking the right questions and building the relationship from day one, instead of just waiting until they're ready, And so I think that, I think it's made a huge difference in my business this year, is just sitting down. Before COVID, unfortunately, but I just started getting beers with people if it was appropriate, and just said, all right, tell me, what do you want? Where do you want to live? And why do you want to buy a house? And what are your goals, and how do we make that happen, instead of just trying to get a sale?
Yeah, I love that. What do you think are the lows of real estate?
Well, I think, I think for me, my experience has just kind of been finding that the members on your team are on the right position in the bus, because I think the hardest thing for me is when our systems and the brand that we've created isn't doing what it's supposed to do, and we're not necessarily providing the service that we're supposed to provide. It's just that, that's our culture. And so if we're missing that mark, I think that's kind of the biggest bummer for me. But hopefully it leads to a good position of that, either that we get that person on the right seat on the bus, or they can move up and out into a better situation for them,
Yeah.
So I think when we miss that mark, or somebody's just kind of not functioning in their realm, I hate to see that.
Yeah, for sure. What are the 3 nuggets that you would leave the audience with today?
Well, I think that's one of them. Try to just listen to people and hear their stories. Take that time and don't just try to sell them. I think one of our biggest culture pieces for Place Portland is to never turn down a real estate conversation. So I think I actually got that from Morgan Davis here in our office. He said it in a class like 3 years ago, and it's just really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And so it's just this idea of, I don't know if it's a friend of a friend or somebody you met at a grocery store. If somebody wants to talk to you about real estate and ask you your advice, sit down with them, give them that time, because you just never know, A, what it's going to turn into, or B, I just think providing value to people is what it's about, And so I don't think you need a signed buyer broker agreement or signed listing agreement to offer people advice. I'm a huge listener of Gary Vaynerchuk, so I'm going to steal this from him, but his thing is just to provide value. Give out your, buyer book, give out the testimonies of how to, find a good lender or whatever. Just give it out to people, and then it's going to come back, and people are going to start to see you as a resource and say, hey, you were helpful to me, I want to use you.
Yeah. Well, I think you attract people that you want to be in your business, because I also know you, and you're certainly not going to take on a client that doesn't fit your culture. You're not going to take on a client that is, I mean, I think for the most part, when somebody shows up as difficult, it's fear. It's a very fear-based, a response, especially in the sales process. But I do know that you're willing to fire a client if they are not, if it's not a fit. And I think that it is because you do truly know your job. You know how to give. You do give all the information, and I think that you have very clear criteria of how to get that transaction across the finish line once you get into it. So I love that you're a giver to get, because we've been talking about that a lot. And I think there's so many people out there that really just go out and they just vomit themselves all over everybody. I'm like, nobody cares. So, well, very cool. Okay. And what other nuggets?
I think just kind of going back to the team, and I think this is applicable to anybody in their job. I think when you're working with other people, if you go with the mentality of how can I help them, how can I work for them, instead of I pay these people and they work for me, I just think your world changes. I think that is how you get successful people around you, and that's how you get people in the right seat on the bus, and that's how you get people excited to come into work every day. And when you have that, just amazing things happen. I think you just get closer and closer to your goals than you could ever really imagine. And so I think I've had a super interesting relationship with my rock star admin, Christine Orlandi, this year. And I think
it's awesome. I love it.
I think it's fun. And I was touching on this a little bit earlier, and it's that we've really just gotten to know each other so well that we can figure out, okay, this is where you excel and this is where I might lack, and this is how that can fit together. Awesome. Instead of being really pigeonholed and be like, no, but this is your job and this is my job and let's get that right, And so it's just truly listening to people and saying like, okay, how can we make this a win-win? And how can we go as fast as we possibly can and not get pigeonholed into something?
I love that. I love it. If you're going to write a book, what would it be about?
Yeah. Something I could talk about all day is probably like goal setting and vision casting and helping people find their big why. I mean, it turns out that that's really what attracted me to KW, and I'm excited about that, but I love it, man. Like I said, I mentioned that Keller Williams offers a class called Career Visioning, and I've taken it so many times, and it just excites me so much. Specifically, we have this one tool called the Motivational Interview, which I know you know about, and just helping people envision themselves 5 years down the road and what they love, and not just in the work realm, but in their personal lives and in their health and in their family and in vacation and stuff like that. And helping people understand that that's why we're on this planet. That's why we go to work every day. That's why we, have the career to sell people houses, is to obviously to help people achieve their goals of homeownership and, have a roof over their head and everything. But for us as realtors, it's also about what goals do I want for my family and myself, and why do I do what I do? And so I love digging into that with people.
I remember one of our first, I don't know, it was just like we were scratching out white papers and we had them in a conference room. We were like putting them around the conference room, and your goals were so big. And what I loved was I've never seen you back down from those. And I think so many times, in fact, I've been reading a lot of information lately about like women leaders having that imposter syndrome, that they're afraid they're going to wake up and that somebody's going to figure them out. And I was listening to it and I was like, well, I don't feel that way. So I had to turn off the book. But the best part is I don't think you feel that way either. Like, I know you don't have imposter syndrome because you're like, well, this is what I said my goal is, and this is where I'm going, and so I'm going there. And I'm like, yes! Like, I get so stoked watching you. So that was one of my favorite things that you and I have ever done, is like watching you do your goal setting, but really watching you grow over the years.
Thank you. That's sweet. And I remember that day as clear as day. I think everybody in the office thought we were crazy. I think all of the windows were like boarded with white paper and we're just doing crazy stuff. But
we were building.
I think, I mean, to touch on too, my loyalty to Chad, I think that's the part is if I stopped every 6 months and just said, all right, am I getting closer to where I want to be? I don't know that I would be here today. I think the point is sometimes you just have to put in the hard work and say, I'm going to keep my head down and I'm going to keep doing this. And then one day you wake up and you are where you want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right. It's what I feel like I've been coaching on that all day long today. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just stay on the path. It will never feel like you're getting there. And I promise you, you are. And I love that you said that. Oh, that's my favorite part of today. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave the audience with?
If I could be an advocate for Keller Williams, I mean, I would. And I think we do that. We talk to all of our clients and we talk to all of our sphere and tell them what a great company it is. And it's truly changed our world. You know, my business for sure would not be where it is today. And my relationship with Chad and him being able to be in Georgia and us just being able to dream and think as big as we have been. I mean, that was the magnet. And I remember our first week in joining the company, that was our conversation was just, I can't believe the big dreams that people have here. And it's just a testament to the culture that you've created here, that Keller Williams has created as a company. And so it's fun to be a part of. And it made the biggest difference for us. So thank you. And
Miss Amy Bloomer, I love having you on. You're seriously like such an inspiration for me to watch. And I'm really grateful to be in business with you. So thanks for being on this podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today on Getting to Know Your Realtor. This episode was brought to you by Lifeline for Hope. Be sure to catch us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much again for joining us today. Have a great day.